Hey, what's up, DOT fam? This is Jaeger, and I'm going to bring you your first look at KRONOS, the newest addition to the Greek gods, the father god of time, but also harvest, depending on exactly how you read up on it. But what's interesting is he's got a little bit of both to his character, so we'll take a look at him here in the Titan Hall. Again, this was all on a test count, just going to throw that out there first, but looking at KRONOS, there's something very, very familiar about him. I don't know if it kind of rings it for you too, but for some reason I feel like I've just seen KRONOS somewhere before. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but for some reason that design just rings a bell, right? But either way, very cool looking Titan. I'm actually a big fan of his design. I think he looks pretty neat. I like his very unique and new kind of walk-in and his stance here. He's not your typical paladin who just puts his sword down in front of him. He's got this little bit of a sway to him, a slight bit of a swagger, and you'll notice that he even kind of comes in, like rubs his stomach and even picks his nose just a little bit. Very carefree. Now looking at his skills, we've got the Spawn of KRONOS, which summons Omega Goliaths. Now notice Goliaths, so that's plural, all right? We've got one of those set up for the first skill. Then we've got 4 more that come in later with the Scythe of KRONOS 1 and the Scythe of KRONOS 2. We'll take a look at those skills a little bit closer in just a minute, but let's start out with all of his base stats. So again, KRONOS here, level 60, he is a paladin. Now, again, I want to point out what's unique about, I think, his weapon is they also have that scythe design in his weapon because that is what he is most notoriously associated with. So again, cool weapon design for his paladin sword, but health 134, 144 at max, 4,359, and a speed of 1, so a little slower. 5% piercing, 10% critical, medium range, and medium damage area with no charge. So again, pretty, I think, basic when it comes to a paladin. As far as his armor goes, he's got 25% base, and then because of his unique first skill, he has 35% base resist for all of the elements. So every single one of them comes boosted right off the get-go with his very first skill. Now, taking a look at a very specific build that I did with that, I'm going to go ahead and show you what these stats look like being boosted. So now that we've got the boost, you can see his damage goes up to 5,666 and his critical is up to 30%. Nothing else really changed here whatsoever, but I did target some very specific element for resistance. Again, knowing that Goliaths have a weak spot for lightning, just because the way that they're built and designed, I targeted lightning resistance, so you can see I've got that up to 100%. Now, because of some of the relics I used, I did increase poison up to 83, which isn't enough, and ice up to 59, which again isn't enough. The relics I used, you can see here, are 2 different orbs. I used 2 brand new relics and a few other additional existing relics, but I'm going to walk you through what each one of those are in just a moment. So here we've got the Spawn of KRONOS, which gives you your 1 Omega Goliath plus your 35% Titan all element resist. You've got your 2 Archer X skills, which is Archer damage at 225 and your Archer AP at 110. Plus, you got Scythe of KRONOS 1 and 2, which is 4 sets more of Omega Goliaths plus 88% Goliath armor and 117% Goliath health. So let me show you a little bit of how that Omega Goliaths work. That when you actually summon these in, again being plural, you get a group of 4 Goliaths with that summon skill. So it's not just a single Goliath. So when we actually bring in 5 of them, all right, 5 additional spells, we actually get 20 extra Goliaths. Now, with this build of Goliaths I did, I've got 146% armor for the Goliaths. And again, the big stat I was looking for there was pushing their lightning resist over 90%, which of course is the cap. So I got that up at 96. The others are a little hodgepodge here or there. I like their health up here at 64,005 for each individual Goliath. Our archers here, I've got 7,000 health, 5,000 damage. Their armor piercing, I got up to 150%, especially with the skills and the relics that are all in here. Armor, critical chance are not all that fantastic. Again, their resist also, because most of it was all like Titan and Army, is also at 96% for the archers. So again, my big goal is to see, can they withstand Storm Maidens, which is the Goliath's big Achilles heel. So here is the relic build that I did. I used the all-new KRONOS' Hourglass. I'm a big fan of just, if they're Titan-specific relics, I'm going to put them on there just to see what they do. But it gives us Omega Goliath armor, resist physical, and Titan army resist against poison. We also have the Time-Worn Doll, being that he is the God of Time. Omega Goliath health, so again, that boosts that up. Goliath resist against fire at 40%, and general troop damage, so it's not necessarily just Goliath specific, which of course can help out those archers in this case. I also threw on the Orb of Wealth, which of course is all about Earth, so I've got the Earth damage for the Titan army, resist against ice, and the big reason I chose it is that 24% resist against lightning. I've got a few other orbs on here. I threw on the Orb of War, so taking a look at that one here, I've got the Titan army fire damage, which of course is negligent, but I was going for that 24% Titan and army resist against lightning. That is the big one that I'm looking at. Again, I really want that resist just to test them out against Storm Maidens. Again, that is what I see to be their weak spot. I also chose the Snatcher's Cage because of the last skill, Titan Army resist against lightning. The Titan critical can help out a bit, but of course the first one with ice damage is not really a big one whatsoever. The last relic that I threw on here is the Plumed Helm. This here, again, geared towards Omega Storm Maidens, which I don't need for that one there, but that center skill, 24% Titan Army resist against lightning, plus armor for all troops. Again, two of the three are helpful, and my main focus is all about that lightning. So here's the battle that I wanted to throw KRONOS and his Goliaths up against, is Hell and some Storm Maidens. Now, I tried to go pretty equal, even though I've got a level 60 Titan, I only have level 17 troops on my test account, so the power is well beyond mine, over double of what I'm working with. But again, just to kind of highlight, you know, the Goliaths here, 146% armor, 96% lightning resist, 64,000 as far as health goes per Goliath. So again, when we're thinking per Goliath, that actually means each Omega Goliath cluster. These are shared stats amongst them. So again, with KRONOS, when you think per Goliath, you actually have to think of that just as a single unit of 4. So that's 64,000. You only multiply by the 5 sets of Omega Goliaths you can bring in. Here's going to be, again, just the attack. Let you guys kind of check this one out. Let it play through so you can see the battle. I'm going to speed it up a little bit so you don't have to see the whole thing, but let's see how they hold up against Hell and her Storm Maidens. One more time, let's take a look at that summoning. I mean, as you can kind of get the feel for it now, honestly, KRONOS is pretty much a pretty basic paladin, and they're serving the role of being able to kind of bog down and withstand these Storm Maidens. They withstood Hell, you know, all just with the drop of this cluster of 4 Goliaths, which I personally am a fan of, that they went with a group of Goliaths versus just one. Now, with that, I don't know, quite frankly, if KRONOS and these Goliaths are going to be the thing to use on offense. They're a bit slow, and when it comes to defense, I don't know if they'll slow things down enough. I'd like to get your opinion on what you think about KRONOS for defense. So there we go, we come up with a victory, and the Goliaths can withstand some lightning, so overall that's a pass in my book, but is this necessarily the best build? No, I'm not going to put that at you. This was a specific test and a first look at whether or not Goliaths can get that resistance against lightning and withstand Storm Maidens. This potentially could be good for defense with everyone running around with Hell and those Storm Maidens, but again, plenty more testing to come my way and hopefully yours, but that is your first look at KRONOS and his Omega Goliaths. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm Jaeger, and I'm signing out.